Let's talk a little bit about creating beautiful quality light for a portrait. Now, you got your apparatuses and you got your gear to create a light for you, but not all light is equal. And to create professional quality light, a lot of people think that you got to buy more expensive stuff. That's not true. What you need to understand is how quality, beautiful portrait light is created, and that's with soft light. So you have to understand the difference between soft light and hard light. The characteristics of soft light is that there's smooth transitions between the shadow and the highlight, or maybe there's hardly any shadow at all. Hard light means that there's sharp transitions between shadow and light. And so when you shoot a subject and taking a portrait, if you want your photos to look professional, you've got to use a light source that creates soft light and creates soft transitional shadows on your subject. Now, how do you do that? It's all about, and some people say, oh, well, just diffuse the light. Well, that's right and that's wrong. What you need to do is create a larger light source and get that larger light source as close to your subject as possible, and you are going to create some amazing light. So, for example, I have my video light, okay? Now, you can see how big it is. It's not very big. Okay, this will create okay light, and in certain instances you can get away with it and it'll look pretty cool. But it doesn't have that studio quality, professional quality to it, because why? The source of the light is relatively small. So how do I take this small light source and make it bigger? Well, you do that by diffusion. You do that simply by using this umbrella that I can open up. Right? And so now you have a light source that is smaller, and when I put it through this umbrella, it's going to be larger. You can't even see my face. Hello. Right? And so this umbrella is 33 inches. And to me, when you get this light source about 3 feet or closer to your subject, that's when you get that professional quality look, okay? You need about a 33-inch umbrella, right? And you need to get it about 3 feet or so next to your subject, and that's how you're gonna get my signature style look, if you're ever interested in learning that. And that's what I do. But does it cost me anything? Not really. I mean, I've got a video light, you know, that you can get for well under $200. And I've got this shoot through umbrella where you can, you know, definitely under $20 you can find one. Usually around $15 or so. And that's all you need. I mean, yeah, you can buy $200 soft boxes, which look great, but this will do the job. And how long does it take to set up the system, right? Boom. What did I say in the beginning of this class? It needs to be seconds, right? So now sometimes, you know, a softbox has those rods you have to put into it and all this stuff. You're going like, okay, do I want to set up the softbox? I can take 5 minutes to do that. But my umbrella, quick and easy, boom, I'm ready for it, right? I actually, and then if it rains, you're ready for that too. And I even use this in many different ways. I also use this as a reflector if I need to. It has multiple uses, and that's what I am looking for in my gear, that everything that I pack, I try to have it more than one use, and I try to be able to set it up in seconds. And also, I don't want it to cost me a lot of money. If I lose these things, no big deal. Or if they break or if they fall, that's not a huge issue. And so this is the perfect item for me. And a lot of my photos you see in my portfolio are simply with a shoot-through umbrella. When you are in a lighting situation, especially at night, when you're not going to see a lot of hard shadows, you can't use hard light. Because if you use hard light on your subject and everything around them is soft light, when you look at that photo, you go, ooh, that just doesn't look right. Why? Because it's not believable. The subject surrounding is soft light, but you're putting hard light on your subject, meaning a small on-camera flash or a light that comes from a very small light source. It doesn't look good because it's not believable. You have to have believable light, right? So especially if you're in a soft light situation, how do you know if you're in a soft or hard light situation? Look around. Do you see sharp shadows on the ground? If you don't see sharp shadows on the ground, then you're not really in a hard light situation. You have to use soft light. Soft light with soft light. Now, if you're in a situation where there is hard light, then you can use hard light. But in low light, most of the time, 90% of the time, you're probably going to want to use soft light. And this is what you do, is use some sort of diffuser system with it, and it's believable. Another thing that you want to do is you want to get that lighting off your camera to create shadows and shape your subject. And so that's why you need a light stand or a system to hold that light. And so when you create shadows on your subject, you are shaping them. And you can also create drama. And shadows equal drama. The more shadows you create on your subject and in your environment, the more drama the photo has, and you can easily do that in a low light situation. It's harder to do or almost impossible to do in a bright light situation because you have to have a very, very, very strong light source. But in a low light situation, it's easy for you to create these shots that have a bunch of drama in it, and it looks really cool. In general, whether you're in a soft light situation or a hard light situation, you want to put soft light on your subject. And I do it almost at all times. Why? Because soft light is king. If you want that professional look, if you want your photography to be above the average photographer, you need to use soft light on your subject, and this is how you do it. Let's look at when to use the video light, right? And only a small amount is needed. And so you see in this next slide, this is my flash guide. And you will see on this flash guide where the ISO is higher and the f-stop is lower, you will see these blank places in there, right? Well, why can't you use flash in those areas? Because a flash, it has so much power that it's really hard for it to put out a teeny weeny bit of light because you're choking it down so much and it has so much power that it's really, really hard for it to deliver a consistent low light using a flash because it's almost too powerful. And so the larger the flash that you use, a lot of times it can't go down lower, and that's what you actually need in low light photography. You need a very small light source. That's why a video light is better. In my estimation, you need, in your gear bag, you need a flash for bright light situations and you need a video light for low light situations, and together they cover the spectrum of bright light and low light. So in general, here's a general rule. When the sun goes below the horizon, now you can use your video light, okay? Or when you're indoors, you can use a video light. Video light is a lot easier to use because what you see is what you get. And so it's very easy to see the shadows. You can definitely see the difference between putting that light closer and closer to your subject, and so you can see the effects of the shadow and where you're positioning it, higher, lower, whatever you do to fine tune those shadows on the face to give you that professional look that you want. When you're outside on location, when the sun goes below the horizon, bring out your video light. Or if you're indoors, use a video light. The darker your atmosphere, the better it is for you to use your video light. Let's do an exercise. I want you to be able to create soft light. I want you to see the differences between the light position far away and close to your subject. So I want you to get out that gear that you just bought and let's put it to use right now. You know, many people, and I used to be the same way, I would buy this gear, but I wouldn't use it for a year later. What good is it if it's sitting there? So that's why I need you to get this gear out right now, okay? And learn how to put your lighting setup together. Because if you don't know how to put it together, like I said, when you're on the shoot, you can't put it together. Oh, I don't even know if I know how to put that lighting together. You're not gonna do it, okay? Trust me, you're not gonna do it. So here's an easy exercise. Get your light source out. Don't diffuse it. And you can actually turn it on, get your subject, and I want you to put that light far away from the subject and see what it looks like. Then as you get closer to your subject, turn down your light source and look at the quality of light when you put it to the extreme, right? So I want you far away and then bring it in and you can see the shadows on the face get more and more diffused. Then after that, I want you to actually put your diffuser on your light source, like if it's an umbrella. And I want you to see the quality of light that creates if you get it close to your subject. Put it far away, put it 10 feet away, turn that video light on full power. And then as you bring it in, right, you might have to turn your video light down because it might be too strong and get it as close as possible to your subject. And I want you to examine and look at that light. Look how beautiful it is. Take a few pictures. I want you to understand getting that light source close as possible to your subject makes that light look better. If there's one thing that I see a lot of students do that is not correct, is that they usually put their light source too far away from their subjects. And that will not create a quality light source. It's very important that I want to reiterate again, is putting up your light situation together. Put the stand together. Put the umbrella mount on the flash. Put the umbrella together or softbox. Practice doing that. You know, even time yourself. You're like, how fast does it take me to do this, right? And make sure, I want to make sure that you feel comfortable putting this light setup together, because when you get out into the real world, you cannot feel uncomfortable about it. Once you feel uncomfortable, you won't do it. I want you to use these techniques. And so that means getting used to your gear, turning, where's the on and off button, right? Just simple things like that. How to adjust the light color, right? Putting it on your stand, opening the umbrella up or the softbox. Just get used to your gear and look at creating different qualities of light, from hard light to soft light, by the positioning of it to your subject. I'm gonna right now go out in the real world and I'm gonna show you how to create soft light, how to get the light source closer to your subject, and so you can see how I create beautiful soft light when I take portraits.